Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Onchain India podcast. Uh, Today, we have a very special deep in project that we are going to speak about. It's called Geodnet. It has been making up some global waves. Their hardware and their entire things is being deployed in I think more than 140 plus countries. And obviously, India is one of the larger markets, for them. And we have already seen some exceptional use cases, that are being getting built on Geodnet. Quick background about Geodnet: they raised $7.5 million from tier one VCs like Pantera, Coinfund. The token is already live. I think it's a lot of incentivized to a lot of the contributor networks as well. So we have Prasad, from Geodnet, who is going to help us deep dive on what Geodnet is, how the working thing happens, and obviously he's going to share some exciting, customers and applications, that they have been doing here in India. So welcome, Prasad. Welcome to the Onchain India podcast.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for being me on Chain podcast. Thank you.
Awesome. So Prasad, let's start with the first initial part of it. Can you explain or deep dive into what Geodnet is, and how does it work technically on the ground? Yeah.
Yeah, Geodnet is classified to be this Deepin project. Deepin is a decentralized physical infrastructure. It's a blockchain project. So, in principle, what we are actually doing is we are doing the location correction services. So, anybody who connect to our network, they will able to get their GPS corrections to done up to like centimeter level accuracy. This has got a tremendous number of applications across. Maybe we can look into that in details.
Got it. Prasad, when it specifically comes, right, because it's a GPS, kind of a network, which you guys are doing, and the kind of accuracy, that is being promised, over to the network. So how does these all satellite and then sub on ground, communication works? Can you deep dive more, into that as well?
Yeah. Geonet works on RTK. It's called real-time kinematics. So basically, this technology is an technology which is already used in the surveying field. So any big constructions, they do frequently need this centimeter or millimeter accuracy. So what they do, the traditional setup is like they have an base station they set up, and then they have a rover which is like a stick. They move it around so to get the points on the ground, and from there they will do the surveying part, and then that it will take into the surveying software, and then they will finish the rest of the things. But this is kind of a very local. So when we actually look into how do we scale it up, so the traditional way of setting up these base stations would be very very costly. So that's where actually we thought we can take the support of blockchain as a decentralized way where anybody could able to buy our base station, set up at their when they have an open sky roof access, and they start mining the tokens because they are helping us to provide the network. And that's it.
Got it. So in terms of the actual communication ranges, right? Because I think uh, I feel it's a lot of subjective to a lot of weather conditions, or different sort of altitudes, kind of things. So is there any specific ideal setup which is being required while deploying these routers sort of modules?
Um, the base stations, it's pretty straightforward. You just can buy a base station and set it up. We look into some quality parameters to be met to issue the tokens. So one is like we need to have minimum of 30 number of satellites to be read by the antenna. all the time, and you need to have a good internet connection. I don't see a high-speed internet connection. That internet should be always consistent over the time, and that's it. That's then you'll be part of our network. Um,
Got it.
yeah,
And in terms of Prasad, I'm assuming that every device which is being installed has some coverage areas of up to 50 sort of kilometers kind of thing. So can I say the ambitious goal of Geodnet is to map out maximum part of livable area into this planet?
thanks, Pratik. I think that's the next goal. What we want to do when I'm saying decentralized, and we also when we could able to have an hardware cost, we could able to reduce it comparing traditional way of selling out hardware. This is actually helping us along with the token incentives, where when you actually divide the whole globe into small hexas, the total hexas we have is like a lot, 100,000 hexas. So we want to deploy at each hexa one base station. That's a total goal. So this will give a kind of a very dense RTK coverage. This is going to help in future technologies very well.
Got it.
So each base station will give a coverage. We say it gives more than 40 kilometers, but that should be fine for us if it gives 40 kilometers range, because next to that again there is one more base station, and so it will take care of the correction services. Yeah.
I was also looking, Prasad, at some of your global deployments, and I think the numbers look staggering. So, would love to hear from you as well. How the GTM strategy, or typically, what sort of deployments are being done in different parts of the world.
So we have currently like it's I could say we started like 2 years back, and we just started with 400 stations as a starting. So today we are about like 10,700 stations. So it's all I could say it's all just because of the the decentralized, and then it's super helpful for us to make this the leaps of the network coverage to bring in. And so at the moment we are already kind of like largest RTK network in the world. In fact, we are double the size of the our web2 competitors in the world. uh, and can we if you see for the India perspective, we have only like 400 stations at the moment we have deployed. And I could see like there are lots of exas which are still empty, and I say it's very very early stage where we are in. And maybe if I look into the RTK coverage perspective, um, we have a potential of more than 8,000 stations could be deployed, where people can get incentivized. At the current rate, it is only like 5% of the total deployment what I see. So it means like 95% of we could still have coverage. We can build it very dense RTK network, and this is going to help different applications. um, the feature is actually you require the location accuracy to be very very accurate. Yeah.
Got it. Can you also throw some map, Prasad, on terms of different use cases?
So we have I could say you when I say like in use cases by segments, we have drone manufacturers and drone service providers. This is where in India I'm actually very much focused with, because this is where government of India and lots of industry is also looking into a drone as a serious business. We want to support that one. So uh, I'm already in touch with some of the drone companies like Aster Aerospace and SeaTac Defense and Mark Drones. So they're very much interested to use our network. I think maybe we'll see in the future coming days they could have able to start using our network. So they are already in the trial phases. And then other field is agriculture, and in this these autonomous tractors makers, they are very pretty much interested to use our this thing. There's one company, AutoNext. So they are actually using our they're actually completed their testing. In fact, even they're going to show our Geodnet base stations at their expos, where they're going to like an agri-tech and all. And then third case is, we could say, like traditional surveying. So it is going to be very, very helpful for the traditional surveying people, where the current way they have to do is they have to set up their own base station and then do the surveying. So now there's no need of any more base station they have to set up. They just connect to the rover, and we're also bringing up an kind of very uh, um, state of the art hardware in the next year. We are bringing it, and that will be going to really kind of help the surveying people at very affordable, low cost surveying they could be able to start offering to their customers. And automotive, it's a very big area. Currently, once we scale it up, our stations from 400,000 and reach to a kind of like 1,000 plus, then I think this automotive field will be really helpful. They could able to start using our network, where the navigation is going to be very, very accurate up to like a centimeter. um, and the other field is, I see, like our Web3 people, where they're also part of the blockchain. And I see the whole industry, when you say the Web3, it's very, very small compared to an standard enterprise, this one. So I'm looking at lots of collaboration within India with homegrown projects, where it's going to be really helpful, to make a close collaboration and then start expanding network, which is going to be complementary for both. And regarding the gaming, I'm not a gaming expert, but what I know is there are some gaming, they need a location accuracy, and they're also pretty much interested. And then Geodnet, we already have some contracts made. And then I'm also looking in India, the gaming partners can able to be part of us, take our network. And I'm also in connect with the research institutions, and these are like IITs and some other institutes, where they actually, when actually I reach them, they have very much interested to be part of, to onboard us, because they have lots of research projects which they see, this data what we are going to bring is going to be really helpful. One example I can tell, like if you say, the dams, they actually, the movement of the dams also can be, calculated with this base stations data. This is one of the application. I never know that this was actually their kind of thing, but this is something, there is a lot of research that is there. And I think, and also, I want to be, because research institutes are going to help us, uh, because these are basically, to the quasi government, and then we could able to be more compliant, because in India there is no other private course network other than us. So we want to be as compliant as possible today, instead of after reaching a critical mass.
Got it. I think these were, like, some of the fantastic use cases, and I really like the fact that you guys are going after the real use cases which can be deployed. And I also see a lot of activity in terms of the global level as where I think you have partnered with tons of other enterprise customers, whether it in terms of different segments and stuff. So on one hand, you have a product, it's actually getting consumed by a lot of these enterprises, and then you have this top layer of blockchain which is basically decentralizing the entire aspects where contributors are getting rewarded, uh, through tokens by immense measures, and we see it flourishing things. So I think it's really fantastic, and it's, I think, one of the ideal ways to look for deep in based projects as well. The trajectory, it should be there. That's fantastic. Prasad, I would also love to understand, how does the outlook, specifically for the India, next year looks like.
So for Geodnet India, for 2025, it's like very promising, which I see. Like we are going to launch new products, like GeoPulse is there, and then the dual mining projects with Wingbaits. We have a hardware and it's getting ready. Apart from that, I'm looking more collaboration with the homegrown Web3 projects in a deep in and DeFi, and then we're also going to be be part of the expos, including drone, agri, and JS and blockchain events. So the people will be knowing it about this thing. And the milestone which we want to be is the largest RTK network. The first milestone we want to be like reach 1,000 stations. So the last and the very important is we're also looking for the CX location, listing of our token, so that our people, our user base can able to convert the JOT tokens directly to INR, and then they could benefit from that.
Got it. No, I think it looks amazing. I think you guys focusing on the traditional hardcore Web2 businesses where there is an actual utility, plus the blockchain layer on top of it. I think it's fantastic. So I think, yeah, Prasad, I think this comes to an end of it. Appreciate your time in sharing all the thoughts that have been going for Geodnet. And we definitely wish you the best for next year outcome. And definitely, I think 1,000 RTKs, and being one of the India's largest RTK mapper, is in pipeline, and hopefully a lot of our homegrown deepen startups also collaborate and benefit from being part of the Geode family.
Thank you. Thank you very much.